Ladies and gentlemen, the religion of peace strikes once again in the heart of France, a triple homicide from a radical Islamic terrorist. A true tragedy for France today. Please pray for them. With that said, my name is Lucius Cole. If you like this type of content, go down below, like, subscribe, share, and of course, leave a comment if you think I deserve it. I don't know what's going on, guys. This is a true tragedy, and once again, France is in the crosshairs of radical Islamic terrorism. 3 people killed overall, one of them beheaded while actually at a Catholic church. This is truly grotesque, and with that said, we'll just get straight into it. It really is a true tragedy. 3 dead, woman beheaded in knife attack at church in Nice, France. A man armed with a knife was attacked people inside a French church and killed 3, prompting the government to raise security alert status to the maximum level hours before a nationwide coronavirus lockdown. The attack on Thursday local time in Mediterranean city of Nice was the third in 2 months in France that authorities have attributed to Muslim extremists, including the beheading of a teacher. It comes during a growing furor over caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad that had republished in recent months by the satirical newspaper Charlie Hebdo, renewing debate in France and the Muslim world over the depictions of that Muslims consider offensive but are protected by French speech laws. Other confrontations and attacks were reported on Thursday in the southern French city of Avignon and the Saudi city of Jeddah, but it was not immediately clear if they were linked to the attack in Nice. Guys, I don't know what else to say. He cried Allahu Akbar over and over even after he was injured, saying the Nice mayor, Christian Estorzi, who confirmed a woman and a man died inside the church while a second woman fled to a nearby bar but was mortally wounded. And from the stuff I've seen, guys, her dying words were, "Please tell my children that I love them." This is absolutely disgusting. France, as well as Germany, has been one of the most welcoming Western countries in terms of allowing refugees into their lands, taking in people that are coming from war-torn countries who are simply seeking a better life, seeking a safer life. And yet these things continue over and over and over again. This is post-ISIS. Now, given ISIS is still going, but this is more than that. It's an ideology. And this is what I really want to make a distinction on, guys. I am not saying Muslims as in brown people. I'm saying Muslims as in a series of beliefs that are leading to jihad, a religious war. This is truly something that needs to be addressed. But the moment you talk about it, the moment you even speak on such things, you are deemed an Islamophobe. Now, if you actually look at the word phobe means fear. And I do believe that a lot of people do fear Muslims because of situations like this. If you actually go to websites like the Religion of Peace, they actively tracked every single terrorist attack, and it literally is every single day, guys. I don't know what else to say. This needs to be addressed. Does that mean that we should all of a sudden just start rounding up Muslims? No. But there needs to be a new way of bringing people into the society so that they can begin to accept the culture, accept the values, and then take their own, systems of belief and make it work within that system. It's when they're pushing against that system, pushing against a country that has taken them in wholesale, allowed them to stay in their homes, allowed them to work within their economy, allowed them to get jobs, allowed them to learn a second, third, fourth language. And yet, this stuff keeps happening over and over. For example, guys, let's take a look. This was just a few weeks ago. Thousands rally in Paris in protest at murder of teacher Samuel Paty by refugee Islamic terrorist 18 who filmed the moment he beheaded him by showing pupils cartoons of Prophet Muhammad and then posted grisly clip online. He stabbed and beheaded a teacher for showing the Prophet Muhammad. I don't see any Christians going around killing people because they made a picture of Jesus. I don't see Buddhists going around because someone showed pictures of, I don't know, or the Tibetans with the Dalai Lama, Buddha with the Buddhists. I mean, like, it seems like the only religion that is lashing out in this form is coming from Islam. This needs to be addressed. There needs to be assimilation. We're talking about people that want to be able to speak freely. You saw what happened with Charlie Hebdo. Charlie Hebdo created a cartoon where it showed the Prophet Muhammad, and armed gunmen showed up and killed scores of people. Why should people come into a country like France and then tell the French how to live in their country? It makes no sense. Assimilate. This has nothing to do with skin color. This has nothing to do with religious austerity. This has everything to do with assimilating. Accepting the culture, inviting it into your life, taking your own religious beliefs, and working within the system that has been created for you to thrive, to all out thrive. You are not going to be seeing that in countries like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, war-torn countries. Doesn't happen. And a majority, I can't say that. Let me take a step back. A lot of these migrants aren't even leaving war-torn countries. They are leaving countries for economic reasons. And because they don't have documents to show who they are, what they do, who gets through there? Radicals. There are plenty of people in the religion of Islam that do not do this. A majority of them. Although 25% of them state that they are fine with suicide bombings, that there are justified reasons for suicide bombings. Allah, the Ariana Grande bombing in the UK. And I want to have a real honest conversation, because it seems like whenever stuff like this happens, the immediate response, particularly from people on the left, is Islamophobia. As if this conversation is not even allowed to be had. People are dying on the streets, and not just one. We're talking about 2 or 3 people that are simply going to pray, are being killed for their religious beliefs. It is absolute insanity to me. And for those of you who don't know, this is Nice. The same place where these 3 stabbings happened and 3 people dead happened in Nice. The Nice truck attack. They still call it a truck attack to this very day. It is absolutely disgusting. It was radical Islamic terrorism. It was a man with a truck. A 19-ton cargo truck deliberately driven into crowds of people celebrating Bastille Day in Nice, France, resulting in the deaths of 86 people and the injury of 458 others. I cannot show the clips. I remember watching a clip of a crying child huddled over his mother who had been killed. I saw a clip of a father picking up his dead daughter. These are monsters. Absolute monsters that are being allowed into the country. It is disgusting. They are human scum. When you are indulging in an ideology of jihad, a religious war, and not attacking soldiers, not attacking bases, not attacking military, but just innocent walking around people, or people who are simply different religious beliefs, you are the scum of the earth. Honestly, all of this stuff, I was really against, like Guantanamo Bay and what was going on in America. But if you were to take something like pouring water over someone's face, as opposed to, I don't know, beheading them, chopping their fingers off, chopping their legs off, chopping their genitals off, like for example in the Pulse Nice shooting, night shooting in Orlando, chopping their genitals off and forcing them to eat it. These people are truly monsters. And by the way, I don't expect this video to stay up, so if you're still watching it, congratulations, because I do not think it will survive. But this stuff needs to be said. We at least need to have the conversation. These are innocent people, and France has been the most welcome to their very detriment. There's a there's a joke, honestly, probably a terrible time for a joke, but it goes something along the lines of this. Have you ever read the French War Heroes book? And someone would reply, well, no. And you reply, well, it's because it doesn't exist. The Germans swathed through them back in World War II. Now here we have a situation where hundreds of thousands of migrants are coming into their country, into France, and now this is becoming a ever-present and growing threat. Post-ISIS. These are people that are being radicalized inside of their country. And by the way, the teacher who showed the Prophet Muhammad, there are literally people out there saying, well, you shouldn't have instigated. As if showing a picture of a prophet gives justification of someone to go and chop someone's head off. I don't care if someone showed me a Photoshop portrait of someone, I don't even know, like my dead mother or my dead father. Obviously, not even real. Again, it's a cartoon. It was a cartoon caricature. This is what that man died from. A cartoon caricature. And by the way, that same man who killed that teacher, he was denied access in Poland. He tried to go to Poland. And you know what? Poland being the based country that it is, Hungary being the based country that it is, you know what they did? They said, F you. And you know what? Because of those decisions from those Poles and those Hungarians, they don't have dead citizens on their streets, beheaded by monsters. I feel like Bill Maher. I hate Bill Maher. He is literally one of the last standing leftists who actually acknowledge that we have a problem here. Making the joke, the religion of peace. You know, piece of you over there, piece of you over there, piece of you over there. I mean, this is a tragedy, and this needs to be addressed, not by simply reeing and screaming about Islamophobia, acting as if Muslims are the victims as there are dead bodies on the ground. Your people's priorities are so ridiculous. You're so worried about the emotional welfare of a people that have been given everything to them from a country than the actual dead citizenry on the ground. It blows my mind. Again, guys, the Nice truck attack, disgusting. And then, of course, guys, back in just 2019, we were looking at stuff like this. Notre Dame. Notre freaking Dame. Honestly, this could be classified as one of the wonders of the world. It's not, but it is so beautiful and so vast. Obviously, there's been movies inspired of it. The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, or what have you. And here it burns. Burned to the ground. The cathedral snapping and falling. This thing being built of over 1,800 oak trees within inside to use to fortify it. This is just insanity to me. This is just insanity to me. And by the way, the cathedral stating that it wasn't premeditated, that someone didn't do this, that it just happened all on its own. And this was put out there by the mainstream media as the building was burning. So no, it wasn't put out there after the fire was quelched, After firefighters went in and looked and decided, hey, oh my God, you know what? There's an oily rag right there. Oh, maybe that's probably what caused the fire. Oh, you see this candle? It fell over. It lit it on. And no, it wasn't that. It was as the building, as Notre Dame was burning, they simply decided this wasn't radical Islamic terrorism. No, 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 no. This was all a mistake, guys. This was all a mistake, but you can't question that. You can't question that because you'll get banned. Let's take a look, guys. France refugee statistics. Increases. 2019, 10% increase. 2018, 9% increase. Again, 2016, 2017, 2018, almost double digits every single year. Let's take a look. In a 10-year time span, they went from 200,000 refugees, which is still a huge number, right? And let's look at it now. 408,000 refugees, doubling the amount of refugees in their country in a 10-year time span. Let's look at a 20-year time span. They were all the way down to 132,000. So between the years 2000 and 2010, they went up 70,000. And then between the years 2010 and 2020 or 2019, they went up 200,000. Almost 3 times the amount of refugees inside of their country the 10 years previous. And you don't think that's going to cause a problem in terms of assimilation and people understanding your culture and embracing it? I'm not an Islamophobe, but I want there to be either a merit-based system, and if they are refugees, I want them to be properly vetted, and I want them in small numbers so that over the years that they are in that country, they can assimilate. Because a lot of the things that happen in these countries is large pockets of Muslims come together, they congregate, and they refuse to accept the culture that is France, or that is Germany, or that is America. Pick a country. This is a huge problem. And if you are even tempted to talk about it, if you're not silenced or throttled, you're banned. Because this is so taboo to talk about people dying on the streets. At least Macron, who is a full-scale globalist, is now saying Islamic terrorists. Again, back in 2016, that was considered too taboo. They're saying, oh, you know what, you couldn't possibly say that because that's going to create Islamophobia. Well, what got them to the point in the mind state that they would literally go kill 3 people that are simply praying at a church and behead one of them, have another guy who would chop a teacher's head off for showing the Prophet Muhammad and then show videos of it online, or even better, just simply jump in a truck and run over women and children by the dozens while you maim and destroy the lives of hundreds and then completely unsettle a country and a nation. The French are weak. The English are weak. These countries are not the same anymore. It has nothing to do with color. It has everything to do with ideology. Everything. Look at what happened to Turkey, a mostly Christian nation, a now Turkish nation who is at constant states of war. It's insidious in its nature. But you can't talk about it, because if you do, you get banned. And Donald Trump was warning of this back in 2016 before he was ever president. And honestly, this kind of stuff never really goes out anymore because we don't have these giant, massive terrorist attacks. And yet here they are popping up for years of this presidency, post-ISIS or post-Caliphate ISIS. Islamic terrorism was basically a thing of the past. Of course, it still happened, but it wasn't happening inside Western nations to the I can't talk. The degree at which it is happening now. Let's see what Donald Trump has to say about France.
A friend of mine, he said he was going to France like 3-4 months ago. I saw him yesterday. I said, how'd you like France? He said, I wouldn't go to France. I wouldn't go to France because France is no longer France. France is no longer France. They won't like me for saying that, but you see what happened in Nice. You see what happened yesterday with the priest who was supposed to be a spectacular man. France is no longer France.
He's right. He's right. And I can guarantee you, under a Joe Biden presidency, illegal immigration, that wall that is being built, will immediately be stopped. He has stated explicitly that deportations would be put on at least a 6-month wait. What do you think that's going to do? It's going to incentivize all of the people to cross the border in that 6 months, even if he decides to start deporting after 6 months. And then, of course, all of those refugees from countries are going to be pouring into the United States. And what do you think is going to happen? We're going to have another Minnesota. Look already what happened in Minneapolis, which is a stronghold for Somali Muslims. Look what happened with George Floyd. Look what happened with Jacob Blake. Look at his father, who's very into the Muslim ideology and religion, very anti-Semitic. And again, I'm open. Look, I'm totally fine with criticizing religion or people or whatever. I don't, all those words are hate speech. To me is free speech. I'm a free speech extremist. But it starts and stops at words. The moment you are physically attacking people, accosting people, killing people, burning people alive, putting them in cages and drowning them, chopping up women and children, and this is supposed to be the religion of peace? Give me a break. I wish I had it. I have read the Quran. I have read the story of Muhammad. And I'm a lot more intelligent on what's going on in terms of that book as well as the Hadith than basically nearly any of my Western friends. Or these people that preach about austerity and preach about how, we need to be more welcoming. I'm all for being welcoming as long as those people are brought in small amounts and those people decide to embrace the culture to which they're moving to. Leave your radical ideology back in the war-torn nation that you fled from. That's why you're here, because the place you left that created that ideology is the thing that destroyed it. I don't know what else to say, guys. There's a lot more to this story, and honestly, if this doesn't get banned, well, cool, congratulations. I guess we made it through the algorithm. I'm not saying anything I don't believe, and I really do believe. I have Muslim friends myself. I know people that embrace the Islamic faith, and I think people see the Islamic faith that comes on in America, and they believe that that is the same type of Islamic faith that's coming out of countries like Afghanistan and Pakistan and Iran and Iraq. It's not. If you listen to the scholars in those countries, they will openly tell you that they want to have Islam as the ruling, governing authority of not only their nations, but the world. Sharia law worldwide. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this type of spicy content, go down below, like, subscribe, share. Of course, leave a comment if you think I deserve it. Let me know what you think about this absolute atrocity. Please, again, pray for France. I don't know. I'm hearing a lot of signal coming out of France. It's not just noise anymore. I think the French might actually being fed up, but we'll see. I'll see you in the next video. I love you guys. Coltrane. Choo choo!